Hello, it's Rachel from BlueDoor Estate Agents. I'm starting a new series of conversations with other people who work in our industry and are the ones who can help you when you buy or sell a property. This afternoon, this is the first interview I've done in this way using Zoom, and I think I've got a few things to learn because I think I probably needed to be on the other side of Peter so that I look like a better interviewer. But nonetheless, we had an interesting conversation, and this is part of the conversation that we had, and I hope that these things that Peter explains about the work that he does will enable you to understand a bit better the process that happens after I've done what I do when I introduce a buyer to a seller and the sale is agreed. So without further ado, here's the premiere, and this is Peter and I chatting about what happens in conveyancing. Well, you know me, I'm Rachel from BlueDoor Estate Agents, and I'm here this afternoon with Peter Booker. Peter's
Everyone.
I'll let you introduce yourself, Peter, and say what it is that you do.
Hi everyone, my name's Peter Booker. I am a solicitor and I specialise in residential and commercial property.
And that is commonly known as?
Conveyancing.
Conveyancing, yeah, which is the connection to me, because Peter is someone that I would always recommend you to find and work with when you're thinking of buying or selling a house. So why do you need a conveyancer? I had a buyer of a property last month say to me, I'm on a bit of a budget. Do I actually need a conveyancer? Can I do my own conveyancing? And I think the look of horror on my face was a bit of a sign that she shouldn't do her own conveyancing. So, Peter, why would you need a conveyancer?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, Rachel. It crops up quite frequently as well. And what I always say to clients is if they're not obtaining a mortgage and there's a really, really simple property involved, they can do it. But why would you? It's the single largest investment that most of us mere mortals make in our life. And the fees involved for instructing a property lawyer to check over the title for you and make sure that that investment is a sensible thing to do and to spot any headaches. I think it's madness not to have the title checked, as there can be so many pitfalls that cause headaches down the line. So it's crucial in my view.
Because if you don't know what it is that you're buying, then the value of what you're buying could be decreased by you not buying what you thought, and that's a risk.
Exactly, and you could also end up with the situation that if you purchased a property that's got a title defect or some other defect, that you then can't sell the property in the future, or if the individual needed to raise a mortgage against the property, they might have real trouble. So it could be, in the short term, it might seem like a great idea to save some money, but in the long term, it might end up being a real noose.
Well, so what is it you actually do?
What is it we actually do? So if we think about a standard sale and purchase transaction, it all starts off with an initial conversation with the client to understand what motivates them. And then any decent property lawyer should take a bit of time to get to know their clients, as it might be that someone's a first-time buyer, but they're also thinking about building an extension on the side of the house. And all of that sort of information is really, really important, as it then frames the next stages. So once we've opened up a file and got through all of the initial, what we call client due diligence, so making sure we've got evidence of a client's identity, terms of business in place, all of the stuff that has to be done, we're then on a sale preparing a draft contract package, which includes the draft contract and all of the supporting information that goes with that draft contract, including the property information forms, any certificates relating to works that have been carried out at the property, all of that collated into a nice, clear package to send over to the buyer's solicitor. They then should hopefully nice and quickly apply for their searches. And when I say searches, we've got an environmental search, a drainage and water search, and a local authority search that provides all kinds of background information about the property and can reveal any hidden nasties. So again, they're really, really important. So make sure when you're buying a property to speak to your lawyer to talk through all the different options with searches, as they are really, really important. So hopefully the buyer solicitor applies for those nice and quickly on receipt of the papers, and then goes through those draft papers and raises any questions that they've got. We'll then liaise with the seller to make sure all of those questions are answered correctly and properly. And then once we've got through that phase, hopefully the buyer solicitor reports to the buyer, contracts, transfers, any mortgage deeds are signed, and we then look to reach the point of exchange of contracts. At that point, all the parties become bound to the transaction, as up until that point, and you'll probably shoot me for saying this, but any party can walk away from the transaction up until that point.
That's why we say sold subject to contract, because no contract, and no contracts means no sale.
And so exchange of contracts is one of those real exciting events that I think everyone builds up to being a huge event, but it ends up just being a really simple conversation between the two solicitors. We run through the details of the contract, make sure the two contracts are in the same form, insert any dates and the figures for any deposits, and then there are law society formulas that are used to confirm that exchange, and that's it. Then the both parts of the contract get posted to the respective solicitor, and that's it. You're tied in until, and then the next phase is a waiting game until the big day comes round. Any mortgage advances or redemption statements will need to be obtained, and on the moving day, all of the money moves around, and hopefully keys get released so that people can start to move in and out.
Me with the keys. So in the situation that we're in now, with the lockdown situation we're in, am I right in thinking that all of what you said right up to exchange is still possible?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult than before, but as long as you've got someone that's persistent acting for you, there's no reason that you can't start to get towards that point of exchange of contracts. There might be some stumbling blocks, as some local authorities have stopped doing their searches for the time being, but there should be ways and means, and it's a conversation that can be had with your lawyer. So you can certainly, as long as it says, as long as people are being nice and proactive, hopefully get to that point of being ready to exchange contracts, so that once we're free to move again, dates can be settled upon and then contracts exchanged.
So it's mainly about, if you're in that situation and you've agreed a sale already, just keep moving forward, and then dates can be set for when the lockdown eases, and hopefully everything can keep moving forward. But I think the key thing is that don't give up. If you're in a transaction, hold on tight. Your dream is there, what you want is there. It's just a matter of waiting a little bit longer to get it. Yeah,
exactly. I think it's about not giving up, as you say, and maintaining those links of communication. Stay in touch with your estate agent, stay in touch with your mortgage broker, and stay in touch with your lawyer as well, so that everyone knows where we're headed. One potential issue that I didn't mention before is mortgages. Assuming a buyer's got a mortgage, some mortgage companies are starting to do remote valuations. Some haven't quite got to that point yet, so that could be another stumbling block. But for any buyers that have got a mortgage offer in place, it's worth checking in with your solicitor, as a good number of lenders have now issued a directive that they'll automatically extend mortgage offers for up to 2 to 3 months, depending on the lender. So it's worthwhile having that conversation, so you know where the goalposts are set.
Yeah, well, I think that's something that people don't really understand about the whole process, is that there are lots of people involved, and you talk to me as an estate agent, I talk to you, I liaise between my seller and you, then I'm talking to another solicitor, I'm talking to their client, and you are all talking to the mortgage brokers and the money people. So there's the property itself, there's the money part, and there's the legal part, and you are very much in the middle of that, and we're kind of around the edge.
Yeah, exactly. I like to think of the conveyancing system as one big machine, and you've got, say, your solicitors, your mortgage brokers, your estate agents, sometimes a financial advisor if there are life insurance policies and bits, and we're all very, very small cogs in that machine. But if we all interact and work together, it keeps the machine spinning nice and smoothly. As in years gone by, you'd find there are professionals that perhaps wouldn't necessarily want to engage with other parties, and it makes everything so much more difficult. I think it comes back to what I was saying again before about communication. Keep those lines of communication open. As, for example, if you're chasing someone to return some signed paperwork, there's no need for me to have that conversation as well. And it's all working towards, hopefully, the same common goal.
Yeah, which is a happy seller and a happy buyer.
That's the plan.
And they want to be happy with you and happy with me. And we're the ones who will suffer if we don't make people happy. And I think that's the thing, that we're working together and working for the benefit of everyone. It really does make a difference. And I think that's where both you and I can bring that more personal service to people, because we're not also parts of another bigger machine. I'm accountable to nobody but my client, and you too are working hard for your client. So I think there's benefits there.
Yeah, exactly. I think comes back to being flexible as well, as finding. I think you'll probably find the same as saying, being not accountable to anyone else. An awful lot of clients are wanting to have a chat. If they work 9 to 5, they're wanting to have a chat of an evening, or even, dare I say, at the weekend. And having a bit of flexibility in your working approach allows that to happen. So you can have those conversations. You end up happy because you've got a good work-life balance, and the client ends up happy because they've been able to communicate with you in an effective way that works for them.
Yeah, I think solicitors answering the phone on a Sunday is something that we will be waiting to see.
Oh, don't push it too far.
We do viewings on a Sunday, so. Well, anyway, just as a very last thing, complete this sentence. Good conveyancers
should be proactive and personable.
Fantastic. Well, Peter is both of those things. So I will put his contact details wherever this is posted. You might find it on social media or LinkedIn. We'll make sure his details are there, so that if you need the advice of someone like Peter in any kind of property transaction, could be a sale or a purchase, you also do need someone like Peter for a remortgage. Am I right?
Indeed, yeah. So quite a few lenders do offer a free approach where they'd have a panel solicitor. But whilst it'll get there, quite often we find that there are time delays involved, and it might well be that the money that you've saved by not instructing an independent solicitor is eaten up in extra mortgage payments or extra interest. So it's certainly worthwhile having a conversation at least.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that people might be doing now, is considering a remortgage rather than actually moving and thinking about looking at their finances. So that's something you could also speak to Peter about. So hopefully that's been really useful. And the more people you know who can help you, the easier your life is. So that's what we're hoping to do with this. Okay, well, it was great to see you, Peter. And we'll speak again soon. You froze.
Bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.